Yeah, we should be live on all platforms right now. Should be able to have the stream go without any issue. Um, yeah, that should be it. Um, yeah, but this stream is mostly just basically covering and wanting to go over the issues with these upcoming changes and how it's going to affect veterans, because veterans will be affected no matter who you are. If you are filing a new disability claim, if you are going through the process, you are going to go through and you are going to deal with this issue. What's up, Dave? Appreciate the Hartman, man. I was just like, it's there's no way out of this. Basically, this is something that is now in writing in the CFR, so there's not going to be any changes that happen that you will not know about. Most of the time, there is some sort of announcement, and in the case when it comes to any changes that comes to the CFR, Code of Federal Regulations, is usually a message or something being stated saying, hey, this is what's going on, this is the activity, this is the problem that we're dealing with, this is what we've seen. um, that's usually how it will go. You have a CMP exam on Monday. What is your CMP exam for? Because that's the thing right now. The thing is people are gonna have CMP exams. The thing is if you have a file to intent date, this is where it's very important for veterans to understand how the CFR works. If your intent to file date was prior to 17 February, they are going to go off of the CFR prior to this change. That's what people need to understand. When it comes to changes with the CFR, the changes are effective. That effective date of the CFR is very important, because the CFR date is what is telling you, hey, this is when this is going to happen. This is when this change is going to take place. So if you're not doing that, if you're not paying attention to that, that's how you get yourself into issues where you may not find, you may fall under a different criteria or something like that. You're not going to fall under a different criteria due to the fact that you are basically, you filed, your intent to file date was prior to. So that's something that people need to understand when it comes to the CFR. If you basically have any, if you have a CMP exam, you will fall behind that. The problem that most people don't understand with this change is that just because you filed the intent to file date prior to doesn't stop that from, it doesn't stop you from being reevaluated. Because the thing is you have to make sure you're 100% PNT in order to avoid that. And in some cases that might change. So basically, if you've already gone through the process and you have your stuff, you will be grandfathered in. The problem is going forward for anybody that's increasing PTSD, hypertension, had intent to file since September 2025. Reggie, you should be good with that. The increase to PTSD is different because the thing is that's going to be evaluated in a certain way. Your mental health is always evaluated in a separate way. It's not evaluated in a different metric. It's basically how social and occupational restrictive you are because of the PTSD. Hypertension, usually you only get like 10% anyway, unless your shit is like super fucking high. You don't get really a big drastic change when it comes to those. So it's just you with your PTSD. You have one on Monday. Make sure you write everything down. Everything that you have to do with PTSD, everything that has to do with the incident, write it down. Make sure you are taking notes on what happened, because a lot of the times you will be asked questions at that CMP exam and you will not understand, or your thought process in your mind will clear out a lot of the shit that you should be saying because you don't think about it. So it's okay to have a notebook or a notepad, basically, or even on your phone if you type it in and have it, so that you have that information written in there and the information is there for you to visualize. So that way, if they ask you a question like, hey, what happened in this incident? you have a reference point, so that way you are making sure you are touching on those things that are negatively affecting you. Because the thing is with the PTSD, most of the times you went through that traumatic event. Most of the times you're not going to remember. You're not going to remember half of the shit that happened. You're going to go through the process, and especially if you have to relive that process, you're going to stick to the points that bothered you the most, but there's other information that may be important for you to state for you to get the rating you deserve. So that's always what I tell people. If you're going to have a CMP examination when it comes to mental health or anything like that, make sure you are writing the stuff down. Have a notebook, have it written down, so that way you can go in there, they start asking you questions, and you don't freak out. Because in some cases, some people freak out. What's up? Morning, Cobra. Morning, Political. Morning, Vegas. And it's just like, that's the thing that most people don't understand when it comes to the process of speaking on your mental health. Is something that, it's a mental health thing. You forget shit. You probably can't remember what you had 2 days ago to eat. Now imagine something that your mind keeps on throwing at you, that keeps on aggravating or triggering you. You're not going to remember everything. So the best thing to go forward is definitely go write the stuff down, have it notated, so that way you have that information, because they're going to ask you specifics on it. Because the thing is you've already filled out the documentation, you filled out the paperwork. So within that paperwork is going to say what the event was, what caused it, and they're going to ask you questions on that. But it's important for you to elaborate on the issue and what you went through. It can be tough. It depends on the person. For each person is different, but it can be tough to deal with speaking on that traumatic incident. No matter what the incident was, it is a difficult process to go and speak on it, especially if you don't speak on it a lot, especially if the only times you've spoken on it is when you dealt with it or when you've been evaluated. So that's why it's important to write the stuff down. With hypertension, that one is just going to be you on medication, or them checking your blood pressure, making sure you probably get an EKG done, stuff like that, and that information. With hypertension, it's unless it's like severely high where you're pumping blood like crazy, it's not, it doesn't cause the changes that most people think it will. So that's something that people, yeah. What's up, Lizette? So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to touch on. But that's the whole thing with this change with medication. This is just the start. And I know people are gonna be like, oh my God, he's gonna fear monger. I was just like, look, we told you this shit fucking months ago. Maybe I should just start listening at this point. At this point, y'all should probably just start listening to the people that know what the fuck they're talking about. Because clearly we've been saying this shit, and I've been saying this shit for fucking months. And it's just like, oh, he's fear-mongering, he's just talking shit. No. Basically, we said that they were going to come for benefits because it was in Project 2025. Because they see it as a cost-effective way of reducing the thing, so that they can change and transfer money to another thing, to more defense contracting. So that way they have an excuse to remove stuff. Because it's basically there. When you have that, what people don't understand a lot with this instance right here is if you have the situation where you are going to be evaluated and medication will be able to lower your rating. Now, this is what people don't understand. You have to look at it in a big picture concept, which a lot of people are not doing. The big picture concept of this is, hey, if you are going through this process, right, what changes have they been speaking on to try to change? They've been talking about changing the mental health diagnosis and the CFR for mental health. They've been talking about changing it for migraines. They've been talking about changing it for sleep apnea. Now, put that together. If the medication is being changed, or you being taken care of is being changed. Put that together now. Now, let's say you have sleep apnea, right? You got sleep apnea. So you deal with breathing and you have issues that stop you from breathing in the middle of the night when you're sleeping, when you're trying to rest, when your body recuperates. If medication and procedures are going to lower your rate, then that means for sleep apnea, if you have a CPAP machine, they may try to lower your rating. Why? Because that is a medical device used to make your issue better. So now let's say you have a CPAP machine. Well, the CPAP machine is helping you sleep. You're not having problems sleeping. You're not having problems breathing now, are you? Well, that's a good reason to then push down and lower your rating, because you don't need that 50% anymore because you have the CPAP machine. Now you can get a 30% rating because the CPAP is helping you breathe. Same thing with mental health. How many people ain't on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication, on all this stuff? Does it help you function? Does it take away that social impairment? Does it take away your occupational impairment when it comes to you working or you going out or being social? If your medication is doing that, then they can be able to say, hey, your anxiety and your depression is under better control because you're medicated for it. See how that starts trickling down? Because the thing is with this change, it's not the change that they're just going to leave it as, you know what, medication and stuff will be. No, that's not it. This will probably go to court, though, because there have been rulings prior to which establish the fact that they can't make this change just willy-nilly. But that's the thing with this, with the changes with the VA. The administration trying to change the CFR and doing so without making mention of it. So that most people wouldn't understand that. Most people would not get this information unless content creators and veterans that pay attention to this stuff would be making these videos or making these mentions of it or talking about the situations where you would do it. That's the issue with it right now. Content creators are the ones that are supplying this information. You can go onto va.gov right now and there is no mention of this change. Even though it took into effect 2 days ago, 17 February 2026. There's no mention of it on any VA website. You can go to the CFR. You can go to the Code of Federal Regulations and you can look at the information through the Code of Federal Regulations. And all it tells you is that it's been updated. And then you can check the historical versions. So it tells you that it was updated on the 17th. And that's because that instance in the CFR was changed and updated. But there was no notification about that. There's no publication. There's no announcement. So basically, this is something that they were just trying to hope slip through the cracks, whereas most veterans would now try to go through and they would try to process the system and go through the system without it. Let me take a sound in alarm. Well, Vegas, the thing is it's not about sounding the alarm because I've been sounding the alarm for months. I've been saying this for months. I've been saying that they have done it and it's a process and the process is in there. But in order to change it, you need to start at thing because that's what I tell people. It's a policy thing. It's in black and white. In order to make these changes, you have to change the black and white. In black and white, your medication and your fucking treatment had no bearing on your had no bearing on your rating. But now that's changed. Keep in mind, most people didn't pay attention to that Senate committee with Alan Tuberville, the fucking Alabama fucking senator, talking about how they wanted to revamp and speed up the process of updating the CFR. Now, if you update the CFR by saying that medication and, taking care of people works, then from there, making changes to mental health, making changes to tinnitus, making changes to migraines, making changes to sleep apnea is a lot simpler. Because the thing is that is what most veterans go for high value ratings. That is what most veterans go for. They try to get the higher ratings because they want to get to that 100%. So what do? If you don't want this many people on disability, you don't want these people to have these benefits, you have to take away what they're able to obtain. And to obtain that, you need what? You need sleep apnea. You need a CPAP machine, because in the CFR, for you to get a 50% rating for sleep apnea, you have to have a CPAP machine. But if the CPAP machine is doing its job, then you're not having sleep apnea as bad. Because now you're being force-fed air to breathe at night. So you're not going to stop breathing because you always have air being pumped into you. See how that changes the CFR? Just by going about changing that documentation and that wording allows it to change it so that way most people don't view it that way. Most people don't see that. Because the thing is you're going to go and file. Most people are going to go and file now. And if anybody files an intent to file date after the 17th, they're going off of medication being included. Whereas everyone prior to shouldn't. So then that becomes a thing, because the thing is veterans that have already had an intent to file date need to be aware of this. They need to be aware that when they are going to do their C&P exam or when they get their ratings, they have to ensure that medication isn't part of that process for anybody that had an intent to file date prior to 17 February. Because the thing is you basically are grandfathered into the previous CFR because of that. But that's where it's a big change. That's why it's just like people got to understand, if you are being reevaluated, if you are asking for an increase, if you are on temporary or scheduler 100%, that can affect you. Because the thing is now they will look at it in a different way. Because the thing is it's an update. So literally, if you are filing for an increase on something, medicine will be a factor now. For any increase, so anybody that's trying to file an increase, even though you already have an increase, they can reevaluate your information to look at it as like, oh, okay, he is trying to get whatever the case. He's on medication for it. He's on treatment for it. It's helping him. So his rating is not going to be as high because his issue is no longer as high as it used to be because of the fact that he is being medicated for it. And that's the problem, and that starts a very slippery slope, because the thing is that's the whole purpose of people trying to instigate and gaslight you into thinking that, oh my God, they're gonna take your benefits. They're gonna do this. You need to file now. A lot of people were doing that because they wanted people to use their system for filing claims. They wanted you to go through them because they make money off of that. Remember, the mental health, the sleep apnea, and the tinnitus has been spoken about for the past 3 years. Going on, well, no, it's 4 years now since they first mentioned they were going to make changes to it. And that date just kept on getting pushed further and further and further and further and further and further. And we still haven't had those changes. But now, with the fact that medication is in there, watch those changes just happen to come out probably by the end of the year. You'll have those changes in writing and they will have an effective date. Because then from there, going forward, anybody that files will now file with medication if you have any sort of medical device assisting you, it will most likely lower your rating because you are being assisted through it. Now, depending on how bad the issue is. But this is also, people got to keep in mind, for some issues, this is going to be a major factor. For some issues, it is not. So it's not everything that is going to be affected by this. Those major, I can assure you, those major claims will be the ones that get affected the most. Those will definitely get affected the most. But all these other things may not be as severe, because the thing is like the case of degenerative disc disease, medication doesn't help that. Chiropractors don't help that. You don't have tissue. Your cartilage has ran out. You have less cartilage. That's going to be the instance on there. That's going to happen. You're going to have less cartilage there. You're not going to be able to, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to regrow back with medication and therapy. So that's not going to change. But the instances where you are getting medicated for something, that does cause a change when it comes to mental health. Mental health is a big thing where medication is always pushed. Mental health is one of the biggest things that most veterans deal with, either PTSD, anxiety, OCD, what's the disorder, adjustment disorder. Those are the major ones that most people deal with. That's where a lot of veterans get a lot of their percentage from. Because most veterans with PTSD get 50, 70, 100%. And it's because you don't have the occupational, like how it explains it in the CFR. Let me pull up the CFR real quick so I can have it in front of me. And that's the thing. That's one of the major things that most people don't realize. So that's a major thing that happens that most people don't speak on. The CFR is one of the largest things and the basis for how your evaluations happen. Most people don't pay attention to that. Most people don't know about the CFR. But those changes are basically the major changes that can affect you going forward. And the thing, the other basis of it is, because look, if you go to mental health, right now, for mental health, you only have the 0, 10, 30, 50, 70, and 100. And it goes off of, to get 100% on mental health, it reads total occupational and social impairment. Total occupational and social impairment. If you are being medicated for that, how can you say you are totally occupational and socially impaired? It's kind of difficult to now say that you are totally and occupationally impaired due to the fact that what? You are medicated. Can't say that you're entirely, unless you show, and you can show the proof of that. And that's where it always leads back to documentation with veterans. That is the biggest issue that we deal with. I like this topic as an HC nerd. But that's the thing where people don't pay attention to, because these are changes that, this is something that should be announced. This is something that should be brought out as, hey, Secretary Doug Collins, this is something you should be pushing out to veterans so veterans are aware. Now, what are the drawbacks of this? Now, how many people, once they hear this information, are going to try not to be on medication? How many people are going to try to say, I don't want medication? Now, there's it's like a double-edged sword with that. Because the thing is if you are saying that you don't want to be medicated, and then you are turning down the assistance that the VA is providing you, they can use that against you also. Because it's like, hey, we know we can medicate you to help you with this, and you're like, you don't want the medication. So it's either you're not going to be medicated, or you're telling the VA you don't want medication. And if you notice, one of the, because this is like I said, this is me thinking, this is my brain processing all of this, right? You have a shortage of doctors, right? You can't hire doctors, or supposedly you can't fund hiring doctors. You were able to hire doctors all this time period. You didn't let none of these doctors go. You ain't have any of these issues, right? Biden administration, all these doctors were still working in the fucking VA, and we didn't have this massive shortage that we do now after firing people, right? So what happens when you do not have the doctors? If you're a veteran, you already know. They're going to push medication. You already know if they're not going to have the amount of time to do it, what are they going to do? Hey, man, we got this medication you can take for this. Oh, we'll prescribe you this. We'll prescribe you that. We'll give you this. It's like most veterans, when you look at, if you ask most veterans what their little like medicine cabinet looks like, you would think they were a pharmacist. They got a medication here, medication there. Oh, yeah, I got a medication for this. I got a medication for that. I got a medication for that too. Oh, I'm taking this. I was like, what are you taking? Oh, I'm taking that. That's usually what it is. They've ingrained that into service members while you were serving. Because what did it do? Take a knee, take a Motrin, and drink water. That's not new for us. Compliance with medication is not a requirement for rating, to be honest. With the new change, yes, it is. With the change that was just put in place, yes, it is. Because the thing is you are basically telling the VA that you don't want the medication when they are telling you that the medication will better you. Since you don't want the medication, that is something that they can use now, because what? You are not, or refusing, or not wanting to take the medication. You are not trying to get assistance when the VA claims they can assist you with it, with this medication. Because then it's just, hey, you don't want to fix your issue. So it's not that the care isn't there, it's the fact that you don't want to take this care that will help you get better. Meaning that your issue is not as bad as you probably claim, because you don't want to be medicated or therapy for it. That's the part where people don't pay attention to. That's the part where people don't want to realize that's how it will work. The VA will now make it seem like, hey, since you don't want to take medication, your issue can't be that bad that you don't want therapy for it. You don't want any physical, you don't want any referrals or anything. You just want to claim it, and you just want to receive the compensation. They don't want that anymore. They want you to be on something, or they want you to be doing something. The changes that they are trying to implement is because they want people to, you don't have to speculate on how sick a person is, because the thing is you still have to prove how sick you are. There's nothing about speculation, because the thing is it's going to be in black and white after your C&P exam or your diagnosis. If your diagnosis states you have this issue, you don't want no help, you don't want no assistance, they're going to go off of what that diagnosis states. Because it has to be documented. They don't have to speculate. If you're diagnosed with this and it just says, oh, you got treated for at this point, like with IBS or GERD, there's different criteria for it, depending on how bad or how it is. Like we could go, let's see, GERD. Because remember, the digestive system got changed in May of last year. Gastro reflux disease. To receive an 80%, this is diagnostic code 7206, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Documented history of recurrent or refractory esophageal stricture causing dysphagia with at least one of the symptoms present: aspiration, undernutrition, or substantial weight loss as defined, and treatment with either surgical correction or esophageal stricture or percutaneous esophagus gastrointestinal tube, right? So there's no speculation to that. Either you have documented history that you had surgery or you didn't. If you don't have any, like for 10%, documented history of esophageal stricture that requires daily medications to control dysphagia, otherwise symptomatic. Yes, I understand. Not all of them are there, but that's the thing. That's the thing why this change is so massive. Because the thing is they're not there to cure the stuff. Because if your issue is static, they already know that your issue is not going to get better. It's not going to progress. But if you got medication, that means it's not as worse or as bad as it can be. You see what I'm saying? It was just like, put it like this, y'all. It was just like, I don't know why any veteran would want to be naive now when every single fucking veteran has gone through the process of filing a disability claim. And now all of a sudden they think that with this change, this is going to lead to something positive for veterans. Like, let's be fucking serious now. Let's be serious. In what way has anything been done through the VA that has benefited you with the cost cutting, job cutting, lack of ability to like, let's be serious now. This is not being done to benefit you. This is a cost-saving method for the VA to be able to reduce ratings or not give people the ratings that they want. They don't want people at 100% P&T. Have y'all not seen the news the past couple of months of where, oh my God, veterans make too much money, or veterans this, veterans that? It was just like, and you really think that they're doing this to better you? If you really believe that, go somewhere else. Go somewhere else with that bullshit. Go somewhere else with that bullshit, because it's not gonna fly here. Plain and simple. It was like, you're not gonna tell me that this is to do it. It was just like, they don't have to speculate on your thing, because most of the time, most veterans have no idea what the fuck is wrong with them in the first place. You're not a doctor. You don't know what your issues are. You don't know what you're dealing with. You've never self-diagnosed yourself. How many veterans don't have sleep apnea and don't even know they have sleep apnea? They just think they tired all the time. It was like, imagine this being a cost cut. Vegas, the thing is cutting costs makes it worse, but these people don't understand that because they think, oh, we'll be able to go to community care now. Community care doesn't mean you just get to go and pick whoever the fuck you want. You don't get to pick the doctor you've always seen. Those doctors have to work with the VA in order to be with community care. It's not that you just get to pick whatever doctor you want. which is the thought process that I think some of these veterans think. It's just like, oh, community care is great. I get to pick my doctor. No, you get to pick your doctor from the available doctors within the VA network. It's the same way when it happens with private insurance, that you have your in-network doctors and you have your out-of-network doctors. If you have an out-of-network doctor, you're going to pay more. If you have an in-network doctor, your insurance covers it. It's the same way with the VA. If they are working with the VA, that is an in-network VA doctor. You can go to this doctor. You can't go to that one. We don't work with that guy. He may be the best one in town. Now, see, that's the... Let me see. Can I highlight this? I can't highlight. I don't have the ability on this one. I was like, the statement is not one single DBQs include a section for the examiner to report unmedicated symptoms versus medicated symptoms. The DBQ has always and continues even after these changes to reports only CMP systems. And that's the thing where you're trying to think that changes are not forthcoming for these things. The DBQ and the CMP are two different things. Two different things. Because the DBQ will show you the information, you will fill it out, you will put what symptoms you have, and your medical provider will do that. Every single DBQ is not filled out by a CMP examiner. Most of those are by private doctors or separate doctors. The CMP examiner is not going through and writing your DBQ. But within that, within the DBQ, your medical provider will state what process and what has been done to try to alleviate the situation. So your DBQ should have, I have prescribed this medication because this medication seems to work to benefit this person. This person deals with muscle issues because of the fact that he had a dislocated whatever, and I've recommended this amount for this milligrams and this stuff on there. Appreciate you, Jermaine. Hope you've been doing good, brother. That was just like, you can be a raider all you want, bro. The M21 will change. This information is going to change. You being a raider, you should know that. That if one thing is happening, it's going to be followed. And then you're going to get your stipulations and your regulations updated to make sure that these changes are there. Because you know why? You didn't even know about this because it happened 2 days ago. The same way there's turmoil in between the changes that happen, it happens. You're trying to tell me I'm not understanding this, but you're trying to tell me that you're talking about DBQs, which has nothing to do with what the change in the CFR does. So how exactly am I not understanding something that the CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations, and the Schedule of Ratings is changing? You did a video on this. You could do a video on it. Go ahead. You already acting naive. I don't have to look you up. You already acting naive like this is going to be a positive outcome for veterans. Because compliance with medication. If that was the case, then why would they change the CFR? If that wasn't going to be a factor, why would they change the CFR? There would be no need to change the regulation. No need to change the regulation if you already know that the regulation is there and what the regulation states. Because like I said, if I'm guessing since you know this, you also saw the hearing with the Senate. Yeah, bro, I'm not going to waste my time with you because you're one of those people that's probably telling veterans that it's not. The change doesn't change anything. Imagine saying that medication is now going to be incorporated into your thing and then you're going to say it doesn't change anything. Ingram versus Collins, there was already legislation done with that. Have you noticed how this administration doesn't listen to fucking regulations and laws? You acting like this administration follows the fucking law. There was already two different cases which explained that medication could not be put into effect or part of your rating. And they still went ahead and changed it. Two different court cases validating and stating that medication would not be in there. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there was two different cases that stabilized the fact that medication would not be counted. But then somehow you sneak it in into the CFR that medication will count. So please don't tell me about the status quo and it doesn't change anything. Because clearly it does change something. Which means if it never got implemented, that would mean that the court proceeding still happened and there's precedents showing that two cases show that medication cannot be used. But then, as you're saying right now and contradicting yourself, that it doesn't change anything, but if those court cases weren't implemented and this change was made, how is it that no changes were made? Like, how you talking yourself into a circle? How you talk yourself into a circle? Because it's to basically speak on that. And where's the documentation stating that that got actually implemented? It reversed the musculoskeletal back to the pre-Ingram versus Collins. So what you're saying is it is a change. Because now the change is going to affect veterans going forward. You cannot state to veterans that there's no change, that nothing changes, but if somebody files now, it'll be looked at differently. I was just like, come on, man. It was just like, just, you have to the naive look. The same people that said there was not going to be any changes and nothing like that are the same ones right now that are just like, oh my God, I didn't see this coming. It's the same people, the same ones. These changes will affect veterans. You want to be naive about it? You want to tell your followers, you want to tell veterans it's not going to do it? You're the one that's going to be screwing over veterans. Because all this leads to is basically making sure that you have the documentation to prove your information, to prove your diagnosis. You can have a DBQ. Appreciate you, Jay. And I was like, you can have a DBQ. That still doesn't change the fact. Because in that DBQ, you're going to have some medicinal stuff. You're going to have what the person is doing. You're going to have how they are being taken care of. What DBQ doesn't have that? If you're filling out a DBQ and it doesn't have that pertinent information, you are not providing a good, well-rounded DBQ to explain what that service member went through. Because the DBQ has to have that information. You diagnosed them with this. Why? What caused it? What's causing it? How have you been looking into it? Because the thing is if you're diagnosing somebody with something and then you're not trying to perform any treatment, that seems like a pretty fishy ass diagnosis that you've never treated the person for it. So then the person was never being treated for the issue. This doesn't have to do with anybody. If you got grandfather, if you did your stuff prior to, it won't do anything. Anything after February 7th, bro, you're a Raider and you don't know this? How you gonna tell me you a Raider and then you don't know that it's not gonna reduce the ratings favoring Ingram versus Collins won't be reduced? Anything prior to this, to the 17th, is not going to be changed. Anything going forward will be changed. It was just like, nah, this dude is on the, he's on the thing and he's like, he's a Raider. And it was just like, what? How you gonna state you a Raider and say it doesn't change anything moving forward? Bro, I feel sorry for whoever they need to recheck all your fucking files. And then you get on and then you get online and you're gonna make these statements. So I can only imagine the amount of veterans you've told that this is not gonna make any change, and people are gonna think it's not gonna have any change on them. You gotta be bro, it's funny. And then the thing is I saw your page and I've looked you up. Is that you're not gonna make me understand it? Because the thing is right now you want to be naive. This is the same thing, and I bet. Let me guess, you voted for Trump also. You a MAGA veteran, right? I could only assume that. Because you want to play the whole naive. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to do anything for us. I already know. See, look, he won't even answer the thing. And it was like, you can flex. That's cool. Nah, you already understand the fact that you a MAGA veteran that has been the same one that has been pushing the same rhetoric, talking about no changes was going to be made. Everything is going to be great for veterans. Republicans take care of veterans. And then everything that has been done has been deteriorating the VA as we continue to go. Why do I go to politics? Because you yourself want to talk about flexing and all this stuff. No, it's just knowing what the fuck is going on with this fucking administration. For the past year, the VA has lost a ton of serviceable people. People that were working, people that were doing their jobs, doctors that were needed, lost their fucking jobs because of Doug Collins and this administration. Bro, please go to another channel. Go keep talking to, I see who you talk to, CivDiv. Another person that just gaslights the shit out of people and just talks the whole thing. You're going to talk about that. Politics isn't a part of this, but what administration did this? Because during the Biden administration, it was adding more shit, adding more funding, adding this. You get this administration is cost cutting. All they've been talking about is cost cutting. Everything was implemented and has been shown in Project 2025. So if you want to continue to be naive, continue to mislead veterans into telling them that this isn't what's going to happen and how it's going to affect them. You can continue to do that. I don't do that here. I'm not misleading people because this was already stated and stated months prior. I've been talking about this for prior thing. You know how this discussion helps veterans? Because it tells them to stop listening to dumbasses like you that believe this administration is working for them. That's why these discussions matter. Because for y'all, nothing matters till it affects you. Then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, what's going on? No, I am making sure veterans understand this so that they are prepared going forward. I am not going to bullshit them as a fucking Raider and tell them that, oh, this is not going to change anything. Why? Because your bottom dollar is going to change? Because why? You probably have a service that you probably tell veterans that you can help them with. So you're going to have less people going to you because you're full of shit. Sorry, I don't do that here. If you really want to help veterans, you got to be straightforward with them. Talking this nonsense is crazy. Dude is blocked. I'm not wasting my time with this stupidity. I was like, this is the reason why veterans are in the position that they are now. Because they listen to people like this, that they gaslight them because they provide a service. They provide a service that benefits them for veterans to keep going to them to get this information because they like to gaslight veterans into, oh my God, no, this isn't going to change anything. Just keep on coming to me and I'll assist. Keep watching my videos because my videos are going to be the ones that help you. It's like, no, that's not how it fucking works here. They only care, yes, those people only care about themselves. They're not trying to help because you're not going to say you are a raider. You're going to have a channel and you are going to produce straight up bullshit. Because at the end of the day, he's not making anything off of this. It's the veterans being affected. It's the veterans not receiving what they should be receiving. At the end of the day, this is something that has been through Project 2025, how they were trying to make it a cost-cutting figure. Now, explain this to me. There are currently about 19 million veterans in the world alive. 19 million US American veterans. Only it's gone up because of the PACT Act. It's about 8 million veterans currently, 8 million veterans that are actually using and receiving some sort of compensation. I believe out of those 8 million, I think it's only 3 million that are actually rated at 100% P&T. So you mean to tell me there's 16 million veterans that are not rated 100% P&T? You mean to tell me that there's almost half of the veterans we have, a bit more than half, that don't even receive any kind of compensation? They don't even use the VA health care. So you mean to tell me out of all those people that this won't affect people? Oh, let's not forget, we still have active duty. We still have active duty service members right now. When they go to file, medication will be taken into account. That's the problem with having so many misinformed people that think they know the stuff. Imagine it's your job to actually do these ratings and you're going to say that this is not going to affect veterans. Remember, like I said, remember in December, if you go back, you can go watch that hearing where they tried to make it seem that they wanted to make it an incentive thing for compensation, where it's if you get better, you get compensated. Not if you're hurt. But most of these raiders, most of these people don't watch the full thing. They just watch the snippets that could get them those live streams and that visualization and people watching. And it's like, no, they spoke about fixing and changing the CFR. That is what people get their ratings off of. If you make a change like that where medication is enabled into the rating, that's there. Because the thing is the thing is I like the guy was just he's a raider, but then the thing is as a raider you should be looking and inquiring into this because it's your job. Because then that means anybody you rate after that filed after February 2017, 2026, February 17th, 2026, anything that you rate or anything that you see after that will be affected. No, it's not that they're doing that to the Raiders. The thing is that the Raiders haven't even been notified of this change. But the thing is the Raider has nothing to do with it. Because the thing is this goes off of the CMP examination. The Raider is the one visualizing the information after the CMP. So this doesn't affect what he does. He's still looking at the documentation to see what is there. The CMP examiner is the one that's fucking evaluating you. The CMP examiner is the one that's asking you the questions. No Raider ever spoke to any fucking veteran and said, hey man, how's that medication working for you? Please give me an example of a Raider talking to the veteran. You are going through the CMP exam. You have the DBQ. They are reading what the information is obtained from the CMP exam. When you have that medication, it's where? It's on the CMP exam they ask you that. The Raider isn't asking you any questions. The Raider isn't asking you what aggravates it. The Raider isn't asking you what makes you feel better. I was like, the Raider ain't doing none of that. Oh, just like, but then to be a Raider, and then that's the thing. You have people like this that push this rhetoric and want to talk all this nonsense on the stuff. And it's always people that want to come in because the thing is they want to discredit you because they want more people to go to them. Because that's why when I looked up his channel, I was just like, oh, you work with the other channel, which I talk shit about. The one that gaslights veterans, that's the channel he works with. He does lives with that person. And y'all been gaslighting veterans for the past 4 years, talking about, hey, you need to make sure to file your mental health claim because your mental health claim, it's gonna change. Oh my God, it's changing. It's imminent that it's gonna change. So you have to file. Oh, remember, we have our own medical team that'll help you fill out an X. It's like, come on, bro. Y'all just scheming fucking veterans. And you just want to come in here and talk your nonsense because what? You want to try to discredit what I'm saying so that people don't follow what I'm saying. Because the thing is if you're better prepared, what happens? Think of it like this, y'all. How do most veterans get schemed when it comes to filing their disability claims? They file, right? They get the first instance. And then they file for an increase. Then they file for another increase. And how do those companies make money? Because you continue with the increases and you continue there, so they continue to get money out of you because they keep on increasing your rating. When in actuality, if you knew what you was doing, you could have done that on your own. And not paid thousands of dollars that were rightfully yours to somebody else because they basically nickel and dimed you to do something for them. Most veterans are not prepared. Most veterans don't know what the information is. Most veterans don't know what the CFR is. Why is it that when you go to these channels, they can tell you the massive change that happens, but they never explain to you what the CFR is? They never explain to you how the CFR works. They don't explain to you, hey, this is what you do. This is how they rate you. They don't explain that part. Oh, this massive change happened. And they'll leave it at that. But they won't tell you how this goes into context, how this issue works for you, how this issue works against you. They don't explain that part. They just give you the clickbait so that you pay attention to it, and then you're like, oh my God, this is terrifying. Why don't you explain to people that the CFR is free? Why don't you explain how the CFR works? Why don't you explain how a person gets rated, how they can get their rating, why they got their rating? Because if you're going through the C&P exam, you are going to be evaluated on your documentation, your diagnosis, your nexus letter, your fucking DBQ and all that. That goes from the C&P examiner, not the rater. The rater gets that information after the C&P exam. When you go through your mental health evaluation, the rater isn't the one that has the psychiatric fucking degree. If you are getting medicated for depression, anxiety, and stuff like that, the documentation has to show within there why that is. It was just like, I put them on this medication. This medication has shown improvement. This medication didn't work and it deteriorated his mental health. He was on this medication and this medication made him have more suicidal ideations. That's important. That has to be put into the process. That has to be stated. Because then from there, that rater sees that, but now that rater has to take into account the fact that the medication may be working for him. So like I said, if you are totally and socially impaired, like it is for mental health, to get that 100%, but the medication is letting you not be totally and socially impaired, you're not going to get 100%. It's not rocket science. This is how these people visualize it, and this is how these people go through the process. Whereas before, they didn't care what it was. But the change was that now this affects you that, hey, medication may make you better, but you can file it as a secondary issue because of the side effects of the medication. So the medication is working to subside this issue, but the side effects are causing you something else which you can claim. You see the difference there? Whereas before, you got whatever you got with medication, and then you got what you did as a side effect. So literally, if you had the illness, the injury, whatever it was, and you were on medication, they didn't count that. They didn't count the medication as part of it. They counted it as like, yo, this is something that he's taking because of the issue he's dealing with. Oh, it causes drowsiness, it causes this, it causes irritable bowel syndrome, it causes the whatever the case may be. That would be a secondary, and you would add that on top. Now it's, hey, you on medication, you on medication. We'll leave it as you're on medication. Well, the DBQ says that you are on 20 milligrams of this, and with these 20 milligrams, your symptoms have improved. Meaning, if the medication is working and improving, then when you look at the CFR and you look into that rating schedule, now you fall under a different criteria because, hey, you take medication for it, but the social and the impairment that it causes is no longer as high as it is with the medication. See what I'm saying? That's the part where people want to be naive and say this is not going to make a change. I was like, now you are going to be evaluated and you're going to be looked at in that way. Yes, you are taking this medication. Cool. I like the fact that you're taking medication. Is the medication working? Oh no, the medication isn't working. Okay, now I can factor that in because it's just like, hey, this person is being medicated and they're going through the processes of getting better, and it's still not working. meaning I'm going to give you that rating that you were gotten without the thing because of the fact that the medication isn't working. Because like I said, this isn't going to be, and that's what got to explain to people. This isn't going to be on everything. This isn't going to factor everything. This is going to factor veterans going forward. But it's also going to factor certain things. Because the thing is if medication is going to be there, you got to find the wording. You got to find the wording of what it says, because that's important. The specifications of what your documentation says is always important. That's what I always tell people. Documentation is the most important factor in all of this. It doesn't matter what you believe, what you read. Your documentation is what they are using. Your information stating that you are doing this, your information that you are going through this process, you are going through therapy, you are going through physical therapy, you are going through counseling. That is a way of trying for you to get better. But at the same time, if those things ain't working, they're going to try to find an alternative. Because the whole point is to get you better. It is not to, they don't want to keep you sick. If you're 100% PNT, you're 100% PNT. But like I said, it's only like 2 million, I think like what, 2 million, 3 million out of 19 million veterans that are 100% PNT. The way it's explained to veterans and the way that everybody talks about it, you would think that fucking veterans, every single veteran is 100% PNT the way they talk about it. Now, would that be expensive? Yeah, 19 million getting paid $4,000, that is pricey. But when it's only 3 million out of those 19 million and only 8 million actually get compensated or use the VA, you can't tell me you're trying to save costs when there's not that many people using it. There's 19 million. That means there's 11 million veterans that have never gone to the VA, never filed a disability claim, or maybe they did and they got denied and they just left it alone. But that means 11 million veterans are not getting any sort of care. And if you have 11 million veterans that are not getting any sort of care, that means that you should be able to distribute the rest of it to those that are using it. Because remember, out of those 8 million that are using those benefits, which is basically the VA, all those veterans don't use the same resources. All those veterans do not use the same resources. I have back issues. You can have back issues. We don't go to the same VA. But if your VA doesn't have a back specialist, then you have to go to community care, depending on if they have one or not. And then that depends on the locality of it. That's a whole different situation. But when it comes to medication, that is the thing. Those are the changes. Those are the things that people need to pay attention to. The CFR changing is something that has to be explained and people need to be understood. To have somebody be naive, to have somebody say that politics has nothing to do with it, when this administration is the one administering these changes. You can't say that politics has nothing to do with it because you don't want to expose the fact that you are a Trump supporter. You voted for Trump. Project 2025 is under Trump. These changes are happening under Donald Trump, a Republican administration, under a Republican-picked secretary of the VA. You can't try to say that politics has nothing to do with this, because that's you being naive and being disingenuous about the whole situation. Because everything going on right now has to do with the changes this administration wants to do. Cost-cutting savings. You fire a lot of people. You were already short-staffed. Now you're even more short-staffed. And like I said, with the military, what happened when you were in service and you actually decided to go to sick call? Here's some medication, drink some water, you'll be all right. Here's a 2-week profile, you'll be good to go. If you even went to sick call. And that's the thing. Most of these people don't pay attention to these hearings, because if you look at the hearings, this is why it's important that if when they have those Senate Veteran Affairs committees, those House Veteran Affairs committees, that people watch them. Those interviews that they have with Secretary Collins, that information that is produced, that is important, because the thing is it shows the way ahead for veterans and it shows what's lacking. The previous year, before Doug Collins took over, the whole outlook of what the VA planned when it came to budget, information, pilot programs to hire, staffing, and all that stuff, it was like 100-something plus pages. Doug Collins had that same hearing, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and he had a 10-page fucking document. Nothing in detail, no definitive plans, no actual structure as to what they were planning with the VA. They know about cost cutting. They want to talk about helping VA healthcare. How are you helping the VA healthcare if you don't have the doctors to actually do the job that the VA healthcare provides? How are you fixing healthcare? You want to contract it out. Contracting it out is going to cost more money. And that also doesn't mean that they have to give you the better service. They're already in contract with the VA. If you work at the VA, you can evaluate them and state, hey, this doctor's trash. This therapist or this CMP examiner that did my mental health examination did a terrible job. He disregarded what I said. He disregarded my statements. He didn't acknowledge the statements I made. That can be held accountable. You say that to a contractor, all that's going to happen is till that contract ends, that person is still going to be there, still going to be receiving people, and still doing it. Like that raider that we had earlier, supposed raider. You're trying to influence people to tell them a change is not going to happen that is going to affect them when you know it will. These are things that veterans need to talk on, and veterans need to have that explained to them, because most people do not want to most people don't want to tell veterans the hard, straight up truth. I don't give a shit. I don't do this for the fucking money. I don't do this for the fucking views. I don't do this for monetary fucking value. I'm a fucking veteran. I went through the fucking process of not knowing how to file my disability claim. I had to learn myself how to do it. I saw other channels that helped me. Shout out to Combat Craig, even though he passed. Shout out to him, because he taught me a lot. But the thing was because he explained the stuff to me. He wanted to make sure I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was reading. I knew why I was filing and how I was filing for it. Not trying to gaslight you into, oh, this is what's going on. Or just like, oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh my God, I have my own service. Oh my God. It was just like, no, you got to be straight up with fucking veterans. It was just like, the same way when you were serving, you would rather have somebody that be straight up blunt with you than bullshit and sugarcoat the shit out of shit. Because you knew if that person was bullshitting and sugarcoating shit, you knew they were full of shit. And that was not somebody that you wanted to fucking follow behind. That was not one person you wanted to serve alongside with. Plain and simple. That's as straightforward and as easy as it can be fucking stated. The real honest people were the people that you wanted to serve with, because they would tell you straight up, hey bro, you fucking up. Or hey bro, good job. Hey bro, you could have done this way. And that's the thing that most people don't want to understand. It was just like, if you are gaslighting and lying to people this whole time, that's not somebody you should be listening to advice when it comes to veteran affairs. If you want to be naive about the political spectrum when you're not, while you're in service is different. We can't say how we feel about the commander-in-chief, whether we like him or not. But outside, you have the ability to do so. And if you can't judge a person, that means you was a piece of shit soldier. And if you were a leader, it's even worse, because then that means you didn't really counsel people in a way to actually mentor them and make them better. Because you didn't have the balls to say the fucking truth. Plain and simple. And here you have to be honest with veterans, because too many veterans are going through the process right now where they don't know how to file their disability claims. Not because they don't know. Some people have never been told. You don't know what you don't know. But at the same time, you going through this process, having an understanding of it, puts you ahead of the curve. Allows you to not be a part of that backlog. Allows you to file and not get denied. Because you know the proper procedure. You know and understand what's going forward. I'm not saying to fucking lie, because if you lie, that's on you being caught. But going through the proper procedure of going through the CFR and understanding how this affects you is the biggest basis. Changing your rating because of medication is a big factor. This is not something that people can overlook. Because if you are going forward, this is going to take into effect. And you got to remember, the VA can reevaluate you. So that's the thing that people don't want to pay attention to, and that's what these people don't want you to know. It was just like, because most people, hey, if you're 100%, look, this is what I tell people. If you are 100% P&T, you shouldn't be filing for anything else. Shouldn't be. The only time I tell veterans that once they are 100% P&T to continue to file for something is if it's something that is life-threatening. If it is a life-threatening issue, that is the only reason I tell you, if you're 100% P&T, to file another claim. Why? Because the thing is the other things are most likely going to be evaluated. Yeah, I know everyone wants the easy answers. I don't give easy answers. I'm sorry, Thomas. This is just like, I don't give easy answers. I try to be as truthful and honest with people, because the thing is they need to hear it straight. They need to hear it straight, because if you give them some bullshit, you're going to give some people some false hope, and then they're going to be mad at you because it's just like, oh, well, you told me I could get 100%. No, the fuck I didn't. I explained to you what you were going to do, how you were going to do it, what you had to look at, what documentation you needed. Your information provides that proof, not what I told you. But that's the thing, that justification doesn't go for people. A lot of people just want to hear the easy answer. Everybody wants that. Remember those easy commercial? Everybody wants that easy button. Everybody wants to just be able to file a disability claim and end up 100%. That shit don't work like that. The rest of the country believes that. For us veterans, the rest of the fucking country believes that we just fucking apply and we automatically at 100%. And like I said, only 3 million out of 19 million that are 100% disability. 3 million out of 19. And only 8 million actually have gone and filed. So it's not an easy thing, because the thing is if you're telling me that everybody gets it, then why isn't everybody 100%? Because it's not a simple thing. A lot of people aren't educated on what they have to do. A lot of people just think filing is just filling out the paperwork. I got this, I got that, and sending it up. No. You have to have your documentation, your diagnosis, your medical evaluation, your shit. Sometimes medication would assist you with that. See, look, shit, it was a few years between my initial 10% and current 70% rating. For some people, it takes time, because the thing is they don't know the process. They don't know the things. They don't know the information. How many people, look, I could tell people, hey, check the schedule for rating disabilities. And most people will look at me crazy. Most people will be like, what are you talking about? What is the schedule for ratings disability? What percentage? Most people don't know that. And that's vital information when it comes to it. Because that's an easy way of you justifying and knowing where you can be at. But at the same time, look at having raters that think changes ain't gonna affect people. Not every rater knows the thing, but the thing is if you get denied for something and you know you have the correct information, you know you have the correct documentation, it makes it easier for veterans to appeal. Most of the time, veterans don't appeal because, hey, we used to taking that L and keep it moving. Hey man, I want to put in leave for this day. Nah, we got a field trip. Well, fuck it. There goes me going on leave. And what'd you do? You went to the field. Then you try to put leave in afterwards. You just took that loss and it was just like, you know what? I got denied. Fuck it. You know what? I ain't even gonna ask again. And that's what a lot of people do with their fucking disability claims. A lot of people will get denied and don't understand, like, hey, just because you got denied doesn't mean that you were in the wrong or you don't have it. That can mean that somebody on the other side fucked up. Remember that fucking Raider that had, I think it was like 8,000 plus fucking ratings that he just approved. Like I said, all heroes don't wear capes, but that dude just approved them all. But then in the same case, that's where you can have another person that does the exact opposite and just denies people because they have to meet a quota. And they were like, you know what? We're just going to deny everybody. Move forward. I got to my next person. It was just like, hey, Vegas denied. Next, Cruise denied. You know what? This person, oh, you know what? I got an extra 15 minutes. You know what? Approve. I got time today. Approve. Oh, I'm running behind. Oh shit. I gotta get how many more people throughout the rest of the week? No, denied. I was just like, but that's the thing. If you don't know how the CFR works, you don't know about a supplemental claim, you don't know about a higher level review, or you don't know about a board appeal, you don't know that you have the ability to fight for your ratings. You don't know that. You're not going to file. You're not going to file to change the outcome if you don't know you can change the outcome. That shit is on the back of the paper when it tells you. And most people look at it like, I got a year for what? I was like, my shit is denied. Why the fuck would I appeal it? What's up, Ty? I was just like, and that's the thing people need to evaluate. This is going to change a lot going forward. But that's, like I said, this administration and the way policies work is a step-by-step process. Step-by-step process. You can't just change the metric just by changing the metric. You have to have the ability to change the metric going forward. What's up, Des? Give me a second, y'all. I need to go use the restroom real quick. I'll be... So yeah, that's one of the that's always one of the main things for me when it comes to this. It's just like you have to give veterans the correct answers. You have to give veterans you have to give veterans the information straight up so that they understand what's ongoing and what is causing these things. Changes to the CFR is a change that influences every veteran. Every veteran. Because the thing is you have to look at it in a big picture scenario. I can tell you need medication. I can tell you need medication. If you are going to say, I don't want to get the medication, I don't want the medication, that's one thing. But the thing is it's in the manner that you respond to that. Because this is where I say this to veterans that are on any kind of medication or are gonna go and get told that they need medication. Hey, I would rather not take any medication because I am not good with medication. Is there any holistic or any whole health or any alternatives? Because then that means you're trying to get better. You just don't want to go on the medication route. But if you're saying you're going to deny it completely, now they can look at it as just like, well, you deal with this issue and we offered you medication, right? So if we offered you medication to make it better, what's up, Fairy? If we're offering you this medication and you don't want to take it, is your issue that severe? That's not a full on speculation, but hey, if the documentation shows that service member or veteran did not want to get any kind of medication to be taken care of, then the effects are not that bad because he's not getting any treatment, he's not getting any medication. I was just like, that's going to be factored in now. Whereas before, that didn't matter. I was just like, and that's where a lot of people have, and it was just like, if y'all have questions, please feel free to ask them. This is something that is there's no wrong question here because the thing is for most people they don't know this, but a lot of people are not being told the answer straight up. A lot of people are being gaslit into believing that this isn't going to be a major change for veterans. It's going to be a major change for veterans regardless of who wants to act like it will be or will not. This will be a change for all veterans. And like I said, this is something that it is a policy. It is a policy and a regulation being changed. Once one step is taken, then other steps follow. You can see how that has been worked in with this administration. That's why I'm not saying it's far-fetched or I'm gaslighting, whatever the case. It's basically a step-by-step process. Because if you hear the hearings and you hear what the administration and the experts that they have, it's usually some person that's disregarding people's disabilities. It's always some specialist or some expert that's done works on it. It's just like, oh well, a lot of veterans take advantage of this, a lot of veterans commit fraud on this, and it was just like, damn, for a lot of veterans to commit fraud that only 3 million of them are at 100% PNT, the fraud rate ain't that good, is it? The fact that only 8 million out of the 19 million actually use the VA and receive compensation, that means that the fraud isn't that high. For people that have never served in the military or for people that have never actually filed a disability claim, it's amazing how much they know, isn't it? It's amazing how easy it is for veterans to get benefits, isn't it? How easily they explain that to us. It's just like, oh, well, veterans they get paid too much. I was just like, not even all veterans get paid. Most veterans ain't getting even paid adequately, let alone they get paid too much. How many veterans don't have disability claims that should have been processed and should have been approved, but got denied? And that veteran just took it as like, yo, bro, I got 60%, bro, I'm good. I'm not even gonna chance it. I got this 60% and I'm gonna leave it at 60%. We're just like, look, this little bit of change in my pocket. Hey, I'll take it. I ain't fighting this shit. I got 60%. They denied this shit, even though my paperwork is there. I had the incident on them. They still denied. You know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. Now tell me how many veterans don't do that. That shit happens all the time. So it's about being honest with people. I was just like the diagnosis, and that's the thing. Most people don't realize diagnosis is the biggest thing. You need to be diagnosed with whatever you're claiming, you need to be diagnosed with. It's only nah, Ty, it's only it's 8 million people. So it used to be 6 million people. After the PACT Act, which was through the Biden during the Biden administration, which basically gave the toxic exposure and all this stuff, there was an influx of extra 2 million veterans filing for disability claims. A lot of those, what's up, Swear? A lot of those were Vietnam era veterans that had to deal with Agent Orange. You had Afghan, Iraq, a lot of those vets that had cancer or something because of fucking literally burning shit. Those burn pits, being in a certain area, fucking getting the anthrax shot, getting Japanese fucking encephalitis shot, getting all these fucking shots. You don't know what the fuck is in your body. But a lot of the shit developed problems for people. And a lot of these people were going through most of their lives. That's how I lost my uncle. He served in Vietnam. Yeah. A lot of people were dying. Plain and simple to say, a lot of people were dying because they were not getting any medical coverage because the VA determined that these people had these cancers and it wasn't caused because of their time in service, even though it was. So there was an influx of about 2 billion extra people filing disability claims because they now saw that they can file for it. A lot of people have sinitis. A lot of people have rhinitis because of the fact that they served in an area where the fucking air quality was just straight up trash. Bro, if you smelling fucking burnt shit the whole fucking time, you ain't breathing right now. You just not. And developing the how close and how near you were to it, some of these people ended up with like lung cancer, different cancers. That's why there's a listing for it. That's why a lot of the vets right now, when it comes to it, a lot of vets I know when they filed their disability claim, they received that letter saying, hey, would you like to include yourself in this study? I know a lot of y'all received that. Yeah, there's a bunch of conditions in there. A lot of veterans received that letter that said, hey, would you like to include your information, your demographics, your blood type, your thing to see the information? And the whole purpose of that was basically, hey, we need to be able to summarize the issues. Okay, so Cruz served in this location in Afghanistan. Okay, Cruz developed this cancer. One of his platoon mates also has that cancer. The unit that rotated after him, one of those dudes has that cancer. Oh shit, maybe if somebody served in this location, there was something wrong in that location that is causing these service members cancer. So now we're going to get this information and we're going to push it out to see. It was like, hey, you served over here. You can be pre-screened for this because, hey, if you served in this area, people that served in this area developed this cancer. It was like all these veterans and stuff like that. That's where that influx of VA happened. That's where the cost of increase came because you had so many veterans that didn't receive any kind of assistance for decades. Now being able to file a disability claim because they didn't have to have the documentation to prove how they got the cancer because they attributed to, hey, you served in this area, chances are you have cancer, it was caused by this. You were in the Vietnam era, we now see that Agent Orange caused this. So all you got to do is file and we have it in your record showing that you served in this area, you'll be approved. So that brought up a lot of things. It's going to cost much. How much do you think taking care of cancer is? Shit is expensive. Of course cost is going to go up. If you're dealing with all these veterans that were paying, mind you, a lot of these veterans were paying this out of pocket. Appreciate you, Ferry. They were just like, a lot of these veterans were paying for all the medications, chemo, all that stuff out of pocket. Out of pocket. And then all of a sudden the VA says, hey, man, we'll help you take care of that because we fucked up. Damn right, a lot of people are going to fucking file. And a lot of people just didn't choose to. It was just like a lot of Vietnam era vets are just like, yo, I ain't filing for shit. And now a lot of those did because it was either a family member or somebody else was like, bro, we can't afford this. Or you need to get some help. Or you need assistance. And that's how it happened. But that's the realness of it. That's how those numbers grew. It wasn't that it was just like veterans get paid too much. It was like, no, veterans got fucked up. Veterans got hurt. Veterans sacrificed on those missions, on those deployments. Veterans lost other veterans. Veterans went through some shit that they think about every day or sleep on every night. So veterans deserve the care they receive. Veterans deserve that information. Veterans deserve to be able to be taken care of and not worry about the fact that, oh, because I'm being medicated, I'm not going to get paid as much, even though y'all fucked me up and I'm not the same person I used to be. It was just like, that's the thing. It was just like, we are getting compensated. I say it sometimes, it's like you get compensated for the shit you lost in your life. You don't come out the same person. You got PTSD, you ain't the same person anymore. You seen some shit or went through some shit, you ain't the same person anymore. You're not the same member of society that you were before that incident. And that's the truth that most people don't do. Most people don't talk on that. Most people don't want to elaborate on that. Most people don't want to continue that metric, and they don't want to do that. It was just like money. Yeah, Ty, exactly. Money can't say it don't matter. Like, but if it were for me, I would rather be able to know that I was fucking 100%. My body was good. My mental health was good. I ain't have no PTSD. I ain't have no issues. Instead of getting that $4,000 a fucking month. Because at the same time, I know I'd be able to make that $4,000 a month working at somewhere else where I'd be able to dedicate my time, my influence, my resources, and everything. I'd be able to make that money and be happy about it, not be concerned about it, not be fucking a thing. It's the truth, and I was just like, that's how I am the way I am. I don't like people talking bullshit, but at the same time, most veterans, people would be like, oh my god, it was just like you get paid this. Would you give that up? Yes. To be able to fucking run with my kids all the time and not feel like my back is about to give out? Yes. To be able to pick up my kids all the fucking time, like they were still small. You know you're strong enough to do it, but it's just like, man, your back might go out one time, one wrong fucking lift. You turn the wrong way, shit. You turn the wrong way sometimes with your neck, you swear you're gonna snap your neck. Would I give that up? Fuck yeah. My arm going numb? Yeah, fuck yeah, I'll give that up. Some people don't feel that way. Some people do. But it was like, swear, the thing is if you are going to file, make sure that you have it's the importance of documentation. Yeah, look, see, especially if you lost a limb or some shit. Look, put it like this. Being a veteran is like Groundhog Day. Sometimes, yeah. That's a I never thought of it like that, but it is. It was just like, look, for a lot of people with PTSD, they would rather have that buddy back than be getting paid right now. They would rather have their buddy alongside them than getting paid right now. That's the easiest way to fucking put that. Easiest way to mention it, easiest way to put it. They would rather have their buddy to be able to have a beer with in person than have to be pouring one out for them. So that's why it's just like most people think it's just like, no. Is the money nice? Yes. But what I could be doing without the money, I used to love playing basketball. I can't play ball no more. I can't play sports no more. That it'll render me useless for the next couple of days because my back is gonna be like, hey, bro, you thought you could do it still. I was like, using a DBQ is beneficial to you. Anything that you use, any documentation that you have is serviceable for you if it helps paint the picture. Make sure you are writing a buddy statement. Make sure you are getting a witness statement. Make sure you are doing your personal statement. Explain to these people what it is that it is causing you. Explain to them what it is that's bothering you. Explain to them what it is that's hurting you. What causes it? What triggers it? Those are the important things that you have to make sure you are placing in those things. If you're not putting that into a DBQ or a personal statement or anything like that, that's an issue. And that's the thing. It was just like veterans go through this process, but veterans don't get educated enough on the process. A lot of it is just trying to scheme you to make money off of it. I was like, am I going to provide a service? Yes. Am I going to charge veterans? Yes. I'm going to charge you $300. But I'm going to give you everything for $300. There's people charging to file your disability claim for thousands of dollars. And you don't learn anything from it. All you do is give them the information and they do it. No, I want to teach you so that you know. So that way, in case you know somebody, you can teach them. And explain to them what you were taught. Explain to them what you went through so that way, this whole system of having veterans not fucking be helped and veterans not know what's going on and veterans not be able to be successful after the military ends. Because that's the biggest problem we have. Taught in 2008 and I wasn't in any shape to file till a couple of years ago. I should have been ready as soon as I got out. It's been a struggle. Clear now, so I'm able to file. It was like, I swear, the biggest thing is you got to make sure that you have all this documentation. Get your files, get your medical file. Go through your medical file, see what you have, see what you've gone through, see what you've been diagnosed with the past couple of years. If you've been seeing a doctor, if you haven't, go see a doctor. Get diagnoses, get something, get a Nexus letter. If you go onto my website, vetawareproject.com, and you go to resources, I have a Nexus letter template that you can use free of charge. You don't have to pay for it. All you got to do is go to the website, check it out, and you can download the template and it tells you how you fill it out and what it should look like. Because a lot of the times when it comes to Nexus letters, the problem that we have with Nexus letters is that veterans don't know how to fill it out. And a lot of doctors don't know how to fill it out because they're not military affiliated. They've never seen this shit. Imagine me telling you, hey man, I need you to file taxes for me. You never filed taxes for me before. Remember, file taxes too. It is tax season. that's a little plug in there. That should be like a TurboTax. We're TurboTax fucking sponsoring me or some shit. That's like a TurboTax plug right there. I need to get sponsored. I'm like, hey, make sure to file. No, but in all seriousness, that's basically, if you don't know how to do it, you need to do that. So if you have a template and it was just like, you produce that template to your doctor now knows what he has to write. Oh, I'm supposed to state this. Okay. I'm supposed to say what he has, why I believe it is more than likely or very likely or for definitive that this caused this diagnosis, because this happened at this moment. This is the event that he attributes to it. And then this coincides with the diagnosis I have, explaining what he went through, how she, however, and you have it all notated. When you have all that lined up like that, it makes it 10 times easier for you to file disability claim, because it's not fucking some magical information that you just making up. This is something your doctor now knows. This is how I write this. This is how I do this. This is how I do it. And it was just like, hey, and even sometimes you can put it in that DBQ that, hey, so and so fucked this shit up. The prior person misdiagnosed me, or the prior person misdiagnosed the veteran because of this, and that. And if that is in your nexus letter, that provides ammunition to show that whoever rated you before, sometimes it could be just like if it's a supplemental claim or a high level review. Supplemental claim, you submitting something extra. That could be that DBQ, that it's your new doctor explaining how this other doctor misdiagnosed you or misplaced the information or wrote the information wrong. It was like, that's the thing. It was just like, they bank on vets not knowing, because the thing is put it like this. I've had, like most people are watching me here on this Cruise Talks channel, I have my Vet Aware project channel. So if you're on this channel watching me right now, appreciate you doing so. Appreciate y'all liking the lives. I have my Vet Aware project, Veteran Awareness Project. That is my other channel on YouTube also. On that one, I have this information. I do the workshops. I have videos on videos on videos of just information there. I'm currently live on there also. It's like I'm live on both my channels. I'm live on my Cruise Talks channel, and I'm live on my Veteran Awareness Project channel. And I'm live on TikTok. And it was just like, those are the things. It's just like, that information is there for people to obtain. Because the thing is not everybody gets excuse me. Not everybody obtains and gets this information when they're getting out of the military. Everybody doesn't obtain that information. Everybody doesn't receive that information. Some people get the advantage of doing it and getting out of the military, and they have the time to do so. If you're retiring or a senior, ain't nobody fucking with you. You get to do all the paperwork, all the classes and stuff like that. If you're a junior enlisted, sometimes they fuck with you and try to send you to the field before you're supposed to ETS. They try to do this. They don't let you get time. Those are causes for it. But then at the same time, this is my experience. I left the military from Germany. My VA counseling was like, hey, this is that. It was like, hey, here's the va.gov site. You know, you get your medical records and you file a disability, and we'll help you submit it. And I was just like, oh, they'll help me like file it. Okay, cool. And then I went, and all they did was literally all they showed you was how to get to the fucking va.gov, file an intent to file, and then they just told you, yeah, that's what you do. That was my disability filing. Yep. Swear there's a lot of channels that are doing this, because the thing is this is the easiest way to explain it. If you notice with a lot of these channels have a subscription thing or something like that. There's like 3 main big channels on YouTube when it comes to it. One of them was a prior raider and service member. The other one is he just gives the news. And then the other one is like half news, just gaslighting. I was like, that's how most of them are. Most of them, you notice, have a system where, hey, if you go through my medical team, we can write a nexus letter for you. And I'm like, that's interesting. I was like, a doctor that's never seen you can write a nexus letter? Hey, go at it. I don't do that shit. Right now, I don't even do anything. Most of the thing I do is free. All the videos I have on my workshops that I would do, I used to do them every Sunday. Now I only do them one Sunday a month. The first Sunday of the month, I do a workshop, and it's just like people can ask questions, whatever you want information on, you just ask away. I get you the answer, or I show you where the answer is. Most of these channels don't do that because they don't want you to know the information. And what older vet using a VA website? And that's the thing. A lot of older vets don't use it. A lot of the people that follow me on the Vet Aware project are older veterans. The thing is most of these people are not tech savvy, so you have to explain it to them in a different way. They didn't really talk about it, Swerve. They didn't really talk about anything. I filed my disability claim on my own. I was rated 0 hypertension until turnover, but VA wanted to take it away. I was surprised. I was rated at hypertension. I was just like, the thing is you got to look at, but that's the thing. When you look at those ratings, that's why it's important. And that's why I harp on the Code of Federal Regulations, which a lot of these channels, if you notice, they don't do that. A lot of these channels don't explain to you the metrics. A lot of these channels don't explain to you what it is. A lot of these channels will tell you, hey, this is a gold mine for fucking filing. I can help you get to 100% with 2 ratings type shit. No. I'm not going to scheme this shit. I'm going to educate you and mentor you how to do it. What you do with the information, that's on you. Ain't nobody ever come back, and I've held tons of people get to 100%. Ain't nobody ever come back and be like, yo, Cruz told me to do this or say this. I ain't telling you to say shit. Yeah. Wayne Kimball's one of those. He's one of those large channels. He's one of those 3 large channels that the VA and the veterans have. Him, I like watching. The other ones, not so much. I was just like, the other ones like to gaslight you into getting, like, scaring you into something happening. And it was just like this is the main thing. This is how I tell people not to pay attention to certain channels. You don't have to watch me. I don't care. I'm gonna help people, whoever wants to listen, whoever wants to get helped, I'm gonna help them. I don't care. But if a person is gaslighting you into telling you that changes are imminent, changes are imminent, changes are imminent, changes are imminent, they're not trying to help you. If you run into any of these channels and they're the ones trying to gaslight you into saying, oh, the sleep apnea, the mental health thing, and the tinnitus, that is going to change any day. That shit has been going on for 4 fucking years. And they've been running that shit to scare people to come back to their channel because, oh, it's an update, and nothing has changed in 4 years. Give people the information. You can go to regulations.gov and you can go and it'll tell you the changes that have happened with that regulation. Go to the VA part and the VA would explain it. I give you the explanation and I give you the tools to be successful. How you are successful, that's on you. Same way it was in the military. I'm not going to do everything for you. You're an adult. You chose to join the military too, the same way I did. You choosing to file a disability claim, you need to educate yourself on how to file your disability claim to file it properly. Anything that is service connected can have a secondary. As long as it's approved, as long as you have service connection, you can have a secondary to it. It has to be service connected because in most cases, sometimes it's medication. In those cases, like this whole change is all about medication, but medication can be a secondary effect. If you are taking medication for whatever the case may be, and it causes drowsiness, it causes you anxiety, it causes you ulcers, it causes you all that stuff, that is a secondary to what it is. You didn't have to get the rating. You didn't have to have a 50% or 100% on one thing to get the secondary. You can still file that secondary claim because it is being caused by that service connected issue. So it's not just increases. Increases are there and you can file for increases. Yeah. And that happens a lot. The amount of times and the amount of veterans that I run into that is just like, they didn't get help and it's just like, shit hasn't changed. And it was just like, shit hasn't changed. It's the same unavailability, the same unaware veterans getting out. Is that's the thing. It's just like, you notice the reason I say this, like, look, I made a company out of this. Basically, this is a company that I run. Basically, me streaming. But I'm also helping veterans. Because the thing is you have to do that. I was saying that there's too much for, yeah. And it was just like, but that's the thing. That's the information that most people don't get. Most people aren't aware of. That's the stuff that most people don't talk of. That's the stuff people don't talk of. It was like people continue to be gaslit. People continue to be told these things, and that's something that continues to happen. Oh shit! I need to charge my phone. Fuck. I was like, but those are the things that continues to happen. It was just like, you cannot have the process of assisting people and talking to people if you are going to gaslight them and try to tell them that things are so bad and it's going to happen. It was just like, no, be honest with people, be straight up with people. That's the whole thing. A lot of information is given, and some people try to give you the information, but they're also trying to make money off of it. Me, I make money off of viewership. And if people subscribe and if people do super chats and donate or give gifts or give bits, that's how I make money. I don't make money off of these other things like, hey, I'll help you file and I'm gonna charge you $3,000 or whatever the difference is in the increase. I'm gonna get, no, I don't do that, because this is free information. The thing is, will I charge you for something like that? Yes, but I am giving you more information. Most of these entities, all they do is provide you the information for disability claims. I am giving you all the information you need to be a successful veteran. That's encompassing your GI Bill, the VRE, your DEA benefits, your state benefits, your state tax exemptions, all that stuff. That's what I'm providing with a consultation. I'm not only going to make you more money, probably giving you an increase or getting you rated for something, but I'm also going to prepare you for your dependents to be successful, for your dependents to take advantage of these benefits, for you to take advantage of these benefits, benefits that you didn't even know existed. And that's a big difference when it comes to it. I was just like, imagine I could be charging thousands of dollars for that information, but my whole thing is going to be $300 flat, and I'm gonna give you all the information you need. Everything you request will be there, and then if you need more assistance, you can come back. It's not about making sure. It's the whole fact that it's like making a community the same way we're supposed to be a community in the military. It's the same way. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate the super chat. I was just like, and that's the thing. It's just like, that's how I make money. I don't make money off of these people. I was just like, yes, I'm gonna provide a service, but that's a service where I'm using my time, my resources, my education to help better you live a better life as a veteran as a whole. Most of these entities just care about getting you a disability rating to get you money, to get your money. Know how easy it is? It's like, hey, there's 19 million veterans. If I can get 100,000 of y'all to give me $1,000 because I helped you file your disability claim, that's good money right there. You can't say that's bad money. That's great money. But then after that, these motherfuckers don't give a shit about you. They don't talk to you. They don't ask you shit. You don't hear nothing. They don't. But that's what it is. It's just like YouTube is helpful because there are a lot of channels on there. Now, I'm not saying I don't have the best channel. Me, most of the videos I have are live videos. So that's why I don't get as much traction as I do, because most of my videos are lives. I go live because the thing is I can have this conversation with you while I'm live. If I make a video about these changes, you're going to leave a comment. I can't fully explain what it is you're asking or the information that you need responded if I'm doing it off of a video that you just left a comment. Because there's no back and forth, there's no communication, there's no conversation about the topic. Because the thing is not only am I answering your question, I may be answering another veteran's question at the same time. They just didn't formulate the question. You asked it or you made a statement, I'm able to speak back on it. Most of these other channels don't do these lives. I will go off of, most of the time, this is just all the knowledge that I've obtained and all the stuff I've researched and all the stuff I've learned. Most of the stuff I used it for my master's degree as part of my thesis, basically. Obtaining this information, looking at the VA statistics, looking at the PACT Act dashboard, looking at all the policies and the changes. That's what I helped with my master's degree. And that's why it was easier to just go off the top of my head, because it was like I had to research and write on this shit, and that's the topic I used. I'm a veteran. They understood that and they were happy about it, because the thing is just like I started looking at data. And you know, as a fucking person, when you start looking at data, that's how you start developing a thesis for your fucking doctorate. Because they start seeing that you are looking at certain information as to what can benefit and what cannot. Like, hey, what are the benefits of the PACT Act? Well, if you added 2 million extra people filing, that means 2 million veterans were needing assistance prior to the PACT Act and were not receiving it. Now with this, it's just like medication will be a part of it. Medication is a big factor. But what I don't want veterans to do with this change with medication is I don't want veterans to deny medication. Because I can see that happening. I can see a lot of veterans being scared to take medication because they're going to be like, well, if I take this medication, it might lower my rating. No, bro. No, ma'am. Get yourself right. Get yourself right. You ain't have the ability to do so while you were serving. Get yourself right. Go to the doctor. Go get seen. Get your diagnosis. Get your documentation. Show what it is wrong with you. So that way when you file, you have the documentation to prove it. It is not you. It is not a he said, she said kind of thing. It is a black and white. This is what happened. This is when it happened. This is how I got diagnosed. This is how I've been treated. This is the medication I've been given. Does the medication work? Does the medication not work? All that information is important to be put in place, because once you have that there, then from there, it's an easier process. I was like, some things is just like with time, it was just like people would be like, should I file now? Your best time to file is when you have your shit right. Your intent to file lasts a whole year. So if you know within this whole year that you will have all your shit right, you will have all your documentation right, you'll have a diagnosis, you'll go through all the appointments, you'll get all the imagery you need, you get all that stuff. If you know that, file today. Because your shit will be good for a whole year. But don't rush this process. This is not something to be rushed. This is not something that is just like, yeah, it takes time, but you got to make sure you are doing it right. You got to make sure that the process is going correctly. You cannot try to speed through this process, because speeding through this process is what causes a lot of problems for veterans, because they don't know the resources. If you don't know what the Code of Federal Regulation is, you better start learning. You better learn. Here, look, I even put it in the thing, just in case you've never seen this document before. Here you go. Just in case you've never seen that document before, click on it, save it, highlight it, because that's why I have a bunch of stuff. That's why it's just like, I find it weird, because on this channel, the Cruise Talks one, I'm getting more viewership than I'm getting on my actual veteran channel, because I have everything linked to that one. So when it sends messages or anything, it sends it to the other channel. So here I have to manually do it, but still works either way. But that's just like, if you don't know what that is, you never heard of the Code of Federal Regulations, this is something you need to do. If you need a VA form, let me know. I have them all on my website. VetAwareProject.com. You can go to resources, VA forms. It's listed in numerical order. It goes from the application for health benefits all the way to the application for veteran pension. And I have all of those there. Every form that I've seen or that I have is on my website. And you can just go download it for free and you can look at it. The same thing with the DBQs. If you have a disability benefit questionnaire, they are all highlighted on there. Thank you, Fire. I appreciate it. I was like, but that's the thing. You have to. It's the whole purpose of helping veterans help other veterans. Because the thing is if I'm able to give you this knowledge and you're able to receive it and you can pass it down to another veteran, that means another veteran will go with these resources. I was like, yeah, will people not come to my fucking consultations and shit like that? Probably. But hey, at least I know I'm doing my job then. I'm doing something right. If less people are coming to me, that means more people are being educated. If more people are being educated, that means more veterans are being taken care of. And if more veterans are being taken care of, that means there's less veterans out on the fucking street. That's the easiest way of looking at it. That's the easiest process to go through. That's the only way to be successful with this. You have to push this information. Yeah, with issues like that, that's the thing. The thing is that's what most people don't understand when it comes to the VA. The VA is a multitude of things. It is not only just disability compensation. Is it one of the major things? Yes, because that's what most people want. But then you have a bunch of resources. You have educational resources. You have employment resources. You have state exempt resources. You have dependent resources. There's a bunch of stuff that keeps added on, and it is a part of that, which most people do not comprehend and don't partake in because they don't know about it. Most people, like, look, one example, the biggest example that I gave that I had to find out in a different way was the VRE program. Veteran Readiness and Employment, what used to be Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program. I found out about that after the fact. Most people don't understand that that is literally a second GI Bill. Most people be like, what? Second GI Bill? Yeah, it's a secondary GI Bill. Just towards employment. Because they're going to pay BAH. And they're going to pay for your instruction, whatever it is. You want to become a plumber? You can become a plumber. You want to become an electrician? You can become an electrician. You want to be an HVAC technician? You could do that. You want to be a mechanic? You could do all that stuff. Navy vet driving an 18-wheeler right now. I don't know how it got on you, but this is like God sent. Thanks for the info. I'm at 10% right now. No problem. Stop. If I'm finding the right people, it's just like, look, this is the thing. I am on, this is my Cruise Talks channel. I am also live on my other channel, which is the Vet Aware Project. So Vet, VET Aware Project. That is my main page. If you are looking for info and you need, I have videos, I have years of videos of lives that it's either on a specific topic or just me going over stuff. Veterans asking questions and me assisting. So I just find it weird that this channel is being pushed more than my actual veteran channel. That's what I find interesting about this live today. I was just like, I'm getting pushed more on my Vet Aware project, on this Cruise Talks, which doesn't have much of a following. I only have, 130 subscribers here. On my Vet Aware project, when I have closing in on 7,000. And that's where I have all the videos. Everything I post is on that one. I don't really post any veteran videos on this channel. I just chose that, hey, since this is a big topic to talk about with this medication change and all that, I need to be able to push to as much as possible and try to distribute the information as best I can. But yeah, that's the thing. It's all on what you do and how you do it. You have to prepare yourself. You have to get diagnosis. You have to get the medical documentation. You have to get imagery. You have to get buddy statements. You have to write your own personal statements. You have to do all these different things in order to be successful with this. That's the only way you're going to be successful when it comes to filing for disability claims. Especially with this change in medication, it was just like, hey, if you're on medication, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Because most of the time, the medication does help. Does it stop it? No. Yeah, you can do, and that's a good thing to do. If you file an intent to file every year, you could do so. There's nothing wrong with that. Because you got to remember, if you say, let's say you file an intent to file today, 19 February 2026. If you were to do that, my cat decided to fucking jump up here. If you were to decide to do that, basically what happens is that you have this whole entire year going forward to file your disability claim. So it gives you a whole year. And what I mean by giving you a whole year is that you can submit your documentation and all that stuff after that. Your pay date will be 19 February of 2026. So whenever that gets completed, it gets done, you get your rating or whatever, you would get back paid from February 19th, 2026. So if you end up with 100%, that'd be back pay from February 19th, 2026. 10%, whatever the percentage is. Yeah, see, bro, that's the crazy thing about it. When people tell me, like, it's I got myself to 100% PNT on my own. I could have gotten more back pay, but I didn't know that I could have done a higher level review. So what I ended up doing, I refiled again for something I had. I could have done a high level review and gotten 100% PNT all the way back paid to my day of ETS. I didn't know any better. So I waited through that whole process, got denied, and then refiled again. Everybody that I've helped, and that's countless people, either an increase or 100%, it's just me giving them the information they need from what they have. I don't file for anybody. You tell me what's wrong with you. You tell me what you have in your medical report. I don't ask for no private information. I don't need your birth date. I don't even need your full, well, I need your name just to know how I'm addressing and like the email and stuff like that. Besides that, I don't need no other information from you. Your medical records, you don't have to show me. I'm not asking to see those things. You're going to do the work. But I'm going to tell you what you're looking for, how to look for it, how does it correspond with the CFR? Because this is your job. This is your disability claim. It's not mine. What you put into it is what you will get out. And a lot of people are just like, yeah, they want to charge you a ridiculous amount. I'm just like, mm-mm. You want how many thousand for me getting fucked up? What it sounds like when you think about it, it's like, hold on, you want me to pay you after me getting fucked up and me going through this process? Nah, I'm good. Bro, I know you hungry, bro. I'm talking right now. This damn cat, man. That is the at for my veteran page. So at Vet Aware Project, if you type that in, that'll take you on YouTube and it'll show you, and I'm live on that one also. And then from there, I can subscribe. Hopefully, I subscribe to both channels. I would appreciate it. But that one is the one where you can watch shit. Just put it on fast forward. Put it on like a 1.5 speed, and you can listen through a lot of the stuff there and its explanations. The past couple of workshops haven't been as long, but there's some workshops that I've gone for 5 hours. There's workshops that I explain how they go through the musculoskeletal thing, how they go through mental health, how they determine the stuff, how they made the changes to the digestive system, going through the CFR. It's just like that goes into, I go into more, what's up, Southwest? There was like, I go more in depth and explanations with stuff on there, on that channel. This channel is mostly me talking life, talking political stuff and stuff like that. That I just decided with this massive change, I need to reach as many people as possible because it's something that is important that people need to realize. But when it comes to like that, you can educate yourself to do this. Now, if they were going to charge you $13,000, that's a lot. Nah, I got no problem assisting people because that's the whole thing with this. Is the whole thing is to assist veterans. I was like, that's why I started the YouTube channel. That's why I started that channel. It was to assist veterans. It was just like the same thing I went through was just like I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know how I was supposed to file. I didn't know how to file, what I was looking at. I literally just went through my medical record and I saw every single time I went to the doctor, every time I went to physical therapy, every time I got an injection, every time I got any of that stuff. That's what I claimed. Was that right? No. Unfortunately, it wasn't correct the whole way, but a lot of the information I got helped me. And then from there, I started watching different YouTube channels. And then it was just like certain ones, it was just like, okay, this person is explaining to me. I'm a person that likes to learn what I'm doing. And then there's other ones that just try to gaslight you so that you can use their service so that they can just make money off of you. But you don't actually know what the fuck is going on. I would rather you know what's going on so that way you have an understanding of the procedural stuff for you. Because the thing is not everybody makes it to 100%. It's a hard climb to make it to 100%. And then depending if you have the documentation and you have the stuff, it takes even more to get you higher. Because you have to have a diagnosis. You have to show that you've gone through therapy or physical therapy or surgery, whatever the case, you have to show that. That has to be shown. And then you have to show how it happened in the military. A lot of people don't have that continuation. A lot of people have that problem where they got out the military and it took a couple of years. They didn't file anything. And then they decided to file. You got to incorporate that gap. And that's what a lot of these channels won't try to explain to you. You got to incorporate that gap. You got to put that gap together. Because the thing is the military fucked you up, right? You went 20 years without fucking getting seen, without having any problems and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, magically, you became hurt. You got to explain that. You have to have that time differential explained. You have to be able to say, oh, well, I got seen for this is my doctor. They've been seeing me for this whole time. I'm 100% PNT. Should I file intent to file because I now have sleep apnea with machine before it goes from 50 to 0? I also did all the claims myself with a learning curve. If you are 100% PNT, the only, this is what I tell people. The only reason you should file for anything else after being 100% PNT is in case it can be a life-threatening issue. The reason I say that is because this is in case you pass, right? It is called the DIC, the indemnity compensation. The dependent indemnity compensation. Basically stating that, because remember, if you have family, if you pass away, there's no more disability payments. If you pass away because of a service-connected issue, and that is the reason why you passed away, your family can then receive that compensation. It is not the same amount you were receiving at 100%, but it still gives your family a paycheck the rest of their lives unless your wife remarries. That's the only reason I say to file for another thing. If you don't have to file and you can go to the VA and tell them, hey, I think I have sleep apnea, I'd like to do a sleep study, they may be able to just get you a machine without you having to file. Go that route first and ask your provider if they can go that route before you even have to file. Because remember, you're 100% PNT, you're covered for medical. Hey, I would like to do a sleep study because I believe I have sleep apnea. They might do the study. You go through the study and they show that you have sleep apnea. Boom, you get a machine. You ain't have to file for that. You have to have anything. Look, for anything, the important thing is understanding if you have something service connected, your secondary, you have to tie that together. You have to show that tie. Whether it's medical studies, whether it's your doctor writing a nexus letter, or your doctor or the DBQ, the Disability Benefits Questionnaire, you have to make sure that that is connected and it is shown as the reason why it is causing it. Because you can put anything as a secondary, but you have to be able to prove and show how it is a secondary effect. So if you on a medication and it's just like this medication is known to cause this, and this, then okay, then that makes it viable for it to be a secondary that's being caused by this. So you have to make sure when it comes to secondaries is making sure that you can provide the adequate and the correct information of the diagnosis of this secondary being caused by the primary. Because if you have a secondary and it's not directly connected to the primary issue, then it's... Oh no, there's no repercussion about it. That's Richard. That's what I say. That's what I always tell people. All right, Vegas, have a good one, my man. Appreciate you as always. I was just like, that's the thing I always tell veterans. The only reason you should be filing for anything once you're 100% P&T, if it is a life-threatening issue. That's the only reason I tell people, hey, yeah, I know you 100% P&T, cool. The only reason you should continue to file after being 100% P&T if it is a life-threatening condition, if it is something that you can die from. Why? Because if you can die from it, your family can be taken care of afterwards. Because what people don't understand when it comes to the indemnity compensation is on your birth certificate, it basically has to state that the reason that you passed away was because of that issue. That's the way your family continues to get payments. And it's not the full 4,000. Like, so right now it's like about 4,000. They would get, I think it's like 1,600 or more, depending on how many kids and dependents. It's a different criteria thing for it also. But that information is there. Let me see, ID. I was like, so this is how it is. The basic rate, so the monthly rates for that is, the basic rate is $1,699 for a surviving spouse. If you have a child under the age of 18, they receive an extra $421. You get an additional $360 if the veteran was rated 100% for at least 8 years prior to them passing away. I was like, there's a couple of more things depending on like stuff like that, but that's what I tell people. The only reason you should be filing for anything extra is in case you know there's a chance you can die from that issue, because then it's just to protect your family going forward. If it's not, that's something you should just be talking to your provider, because if you're 100% P&T, you basically have free healthcare. You just have to go through your provider and be like, hey, I have this issue. I have this issue. I would like to get seen for this issue. I believe I have this issue. Like, hey, I believe I have rhinitis. I'm not filing for it, but what did I talk to? I talked to my provider and they prescribed like some Flonase or some shit. I don't got to go buy the shit. They prescribed it for me. So that's the thing. If you're 100% P&T, tell your provider that you are dealing with something or have an issue and have it. Then that's also documentation. Because if you do get that sleep study, it does show that you have sleep apnea. Now you have documentation showing that you have sleep apnea. And it was through the VA that you got diagnosed with sleep apnea. So in case anything happens and you have to file for it, you already got the paperwork in line. So it's like you can file an intent to file, but there's no intent to file dates. Once you're 100% P&T, you can't go any higher. The only way you can get higher is if you go into the special monthly compensation, and that's a different criteria because you have to fit certain things. So that's if you're like housebound, or you need aid in attendance, or you lost a limb or something like that. Those are different specifications for the special monthly compensation. That is a different entity. That is an entirely different thing. And it is not that you get paid both at the same time, which a lot of people think it is. Well, let me restart this real quick. That's one of the things that a lot of people fail to realize. It's not that you get paid both of these things. It was like it'll happen, but you're not going to get paid for both. You will get paid that special monthly compensation. It is not a it is not both of them tied up together, which a lot of people think it is. It doesn't work that way. That is not how it works. Yeah, you can just be continue to be seen. That's what it is. You're 100% P&T. Once you're 100% P&T, that's the thing. Most people need to realize when you are 100% P&T, because there's four different types of 100%. There's 100% P&T, which is permanent and total, which means basically the VA identifies that you most likely have static issues, meaning that they are not going to progress and will most likely get worse, and they won't try to reevaluate you. That is 100% P&T. You have 100% TDIU, which is basically the same thing as 100% P&T. The difference is that it doesn't you don't need to be 100% to get it. The thing is that you have certain disabling factors that cause you to be unable to be employed because of one specific issue that causes it, and that gets you 100%, gets you paid at 100%, but it's not the same thing, because if it is TDIU, that means that you are not able to be employed, meaning that the only amount of money you can make per year is the poverty line. You cannot go past the poverty line if you are TDIU. When you are permanent and total, you can work as long as you want and make as much as you want. If you are TDIU, you have to stay under the poverty line. You cannot go past that. Then there's 100% scheduler. 100% scheduler is basically when you make it to 100%, but you are still going to be reevaluated, meaning that your ailments and the stuff you have are at 100%, got you to 100%, but chances are that you will be reevaluated for some of those things, and it is not a permanent 100%. So maybe you have some ailment that is going to get better or is progressing better, so they don't give you the 100% P&T. Then you have temporary 100%. 100% temporary is basically, let's say you have a surgery. You will be at 100% P&T because of that surgery. So literally, let's say you have that shoulder surgery or whatever, hip surgery, whatever surgery it is, you will temporarily be put at 100% disability rating till they deem that that is done. So let's say you are going to have surgery and they say in 8 months you should be good to go. That means that you will get paid at 100% for those 8 months, and then you will be reevaluated to see what your rating is and then get paid at that rating. So there's 4 different types of 100% P&T, but it's basically on what you want to do. If you have any issues, go to your provider and talk to them. Because if you don't have to file for it, you don't have to file for it. And it changing to Richard, there's nowhere that it says that it's going to go to 0%. That's the other thing. That's the thing. The new rules have not been put in place, yo. That's why I say that's why I talk about these gaslighting channels. That's why I talk about these gaslighting channels. Those changes have not been implemented. They haven't. The mental health one, the sleep. Good morning, political. Those like they have not been implemented. The final action date has been moved for 4 years. This started on March 22nd of 2022. I think it was. So March 22nd, 2022. I think it was March 22nd, 2022 that they've been talking about this change and the shit hasn't changed. Still hasn't changed. So when people keep saying that, it's just like the shit still hasn't changed since 2022, where people have been saying that, oh my God, it's going to change. Oh my God, it's going to change. Your thing is going to change. You're going to change. Since 2022, they have been stating that. There has to be an effective date. With that, they will probably give you an effective date as of it is changing this day. As of this day going forward, mental health and sleep apnea and all this will be rated in this manner. That hasn't changed. That's why I say this change that just happened on the 17th of medication being involved is a precursor to that being changed. Because the thing is now they will be able to say, well, you have a CPAP machine. A CPAP machine helps you breathe, which doesn't cause you to have sleep apnea because you have medication that's helping you. So therefore, then they can change the criteria and the rating schedule because you have a procedural element that is helping you with the ailment. So you can't have severe sleep apnea if you're sleeping with a CPAP machine because the CPAP machine is curing that. See what I'm saying? That's why I say it's a process with this. It's policies. It's in black and white, but they have to change the black and white to do it. With them changing, hey, that you have medication and they change the mental health awareness changes, if they change that, basically saying, hey, well, in this, because this I have a video on that on the other channel also, which explains the proposed changes to it being different domains that they are looking at when it comes to your mental health, and it being like a point system within the mental health. So it's like, I believe, I can't remember, I think it's 5 or 4 domains, like work, social, stuff like that, and it's 1 through 4. Depending on the severity of it, you will get numbered 1 through 4. If you have a 4 at anything, then you would be considered 100% through mental health. But it's not like how it is now, that is just like total occupation, social occupational impairment. They're changing it, or that's the proposed change. But then when you have these changes that come to medical and medication, it's different because of the fact that, hey, a lot of veterans with PTSD, anxiety, depression have medication. Now, you're not going to get rated as high if your medication is helping you with your symptoms. See what I'm saying? It's a process to it. It's not just, hey, we're just going to change this shit. They got to do this in sections. That's how the CFR gets changed. It's never like the whole thing just gets wiped out and cleaned. It is in sections, but it will tell you an effective date. The effective date of this. The effective date of that. The effective date of this. That's why with this change, it was like the effective date was 17 thing. I was just like, oh shit, I didn't know it was. Like, when the hell did this happen? Oh, effective 17 February. Hold on. Where is it? Because there's a document. Shit. Can't remember where it's at. It's a VA 72, I think. So you filing for it now that may come into effect. But you got to remember, as of right now, if you already have your intent to file date, swears, you already have your intent to file date. You will fall under the criteria for when your intent to file date happens. Any changes going forward, anybody that files going forward deals with this effective change with the medication. That's what people need to understand also. Since if your intent to file date is before 17 February, that won't be counted that way. The same way until the changes don't happen with the sleep apnea and the mental health thing, you are going to be rated at the way it is currently. Once an effective date is placed, after that effective date, from then going forward is when the new CFR takes into place. Damn, what the hell is it? Shit, I haven't looked in this thing. QR82. Damn, I can't remember. Oh no, I have to single it out by agency, which is Department of Veteran Affairs. And that's how it goes off of. So that's one of the important things that people need to realize when it comes to that. What happened to my chat? Where'd my chat go? I had no idea that the intent to file would be so crucial. This is going to help me when I file in the next few weeks. Yeah, that's the thing that most people don't see. I'm glad I'm able to help. That's the whole purpose of this. I'm glad I'm able to help. And the way y'all can help me is make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all like the channel. That's how y'all can help me back. That's all I ask for. Donations are never needed here. If you want to donate, that's because you choose to. Donations are never needed here. Here, if you give me your viewership, that at least gets me some ad revenue. That's it. That makes me something. And that's how y'all can give back to me, by supporting the channel, by watching the videos, liking the videos, and stuff like that. Them donations are never necessary on any of these. Do I appreciate them? Yes. I'm not going to say no to that. I do appreciate them because it helps me with the website and stuff like that. But that is not something that is necessary at this channel. I'm not going to try to sell you a gimmick or some shit like that. It's like, no. If I'm doing this, is because I want to assist people, and that's the best way of going about it. I was like, if you want to assist me back, it's just, hey, liking the live, sharing the information to different people so other people can view it. That helps me continue to build off of this and continue to be able to spread this to more people. And that's it. But that's the thing. It's like you get sleep apnea, you have it, you file, the changes have not been made. Oh, let me see if I can find this. It's been a while since I looked into this. Because basically, if you go through it's regulations.gov. If you go through regulations.gov and you go through the veterans thing, there's a whole listing of basically the regulations and the rules that they change. In there, that's where I produced the video showing how the change. Hold on, I'll just do it this way. Give me 1 second. For all that are 100% busy just came from dental appointments assigned with community care from VA, all services are 100% free. Yeah. 100. If you are a 100% PNT veteran, you are 100% at dental. 100% dental. All you got to do is go. You do it. If you have any issues, you go through them. 100% dental. Which is that's a massive change. That's a big difference. You don't have to worry about it. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna get the video to show you. Or if you're the next time you're at the VA, you could just go and do it that way. and just go to the dental within, because most of them they have it within the building, and you can do it that way. You get free dental care, you get the DEA benefits, you get the Chapter 35 benefits. So if you have dependents, they will be able to go to an accredited school and they will receive a monthly stipend while they are at school. That is the DEA veteran benefits. I'm trying to find this video real quick. Was it a live? No, it was a live. Okay, this link right here, that YouTube video right there that I am plugging in. That video right there is the video where I go over the proposed mental health changes. That video will go and show you every single thing, basically, that is what they are proposing to do for the mental health changes. Now, that isn't set in stone because some of those things can change and they may change them, but that is what they were proposing. So if you watch that video explains that. And those are the mental health proposed changes. I have it in that version. There's that one, and then there's the because one of them is like a phone version, and then the other one is a regular version, like a widescreen version, and then I have a phone version. So I do it on both. Yeah, that's a lot of the stuff. That's basically swears what my consultations provide. Basically, you're giving me where you're at so that way I can give you the information as to schooling, stuff like that, stuff for your dependents, stuff like that. Because there's a lot of information that most vets don't know, whether it's, hey, you get a free license plate, or for some places, depending on what state you reside in, you may be able to go to school for free because you are 100% PNT. For some, it's dependent on, or one of your dependents could do it. Like for me in the state of Kansas, if since I am 100% PNT, my kid can go to any of the accredited universities here for free. But it depends on your state. Each state is different. Each state has its own benefits and stuff like that. I appreciate that, Richard. Thank you. That's all I can ask for, basically. It was like I said, this is my channel here, but then the other channel is the Vet Aware Project. Like I said, I'll plug that back in here. So that video, basically, if you click on that link to that video, it will take you to my main page, and that's where I have all those videos. Most of my videos, like I said, you would have to go through to the live videos because that's where I do most of my stuff. The workshops and the videos I do, I like doing my live. I'm not big. I haven't recorded much. I need to start doing that. I have a bunch of stuff to record, but that's the best way I like interacting with people, is actually being able to have that conversation. So, and just doing it that way. Okay, have that. Where is just but yeah, regulations.gov shows that, and that video shows that, and all that information there. Basically so that you can have that information and go about it that way. But yeah, that's about it for today. I just wanted to make sure to touch on those things and talk on it. Um we'll probably keep doing this. I think talking more about veteran stuff is more important. I still have, like I said, when I do these, if I'm gonna be talking about veteran stuff, most likely I will be live on this channel and on my Vet Aware Project channel. Same thing goes for TikTok, is the same for both. This is just basically a secondary for it. But we will be talking on both. If it is just a political talk stuff, it'll just be on the Just Cruise one. If it is for veteran stuff, it'll be on both. Or maybe I'll just start doing all of them at the same time anyway. Either way it is. But yeah, that's what they're proposing. So that's, like I said, those are the proposed things. The same way there's proposed things coming for a bunch of stuff. But the thing is it hasn't been put out yet, and they will put an effective date, which is the most important thing. You have to know when the effective date is, because after that effective date, anything that's getting filed after that date goes under that change. Anything prior gets taken care of with the prior change. But that also means, like, let's say the one thing I still don't know and I'm not entirely sure is let's say you get denied and then you appeal it. That part I am not sure if then it falls under the new criteria or the old. That's one question I'm still trying to figure out. But if you file an intent to file date and you file prior to the change, you are being evaluated prior to the change. If you file after the change, you are being evaluated after the change. And that's how it is. The intent to file date won't change, but the criteria that you're rated on for, let's say, mental health, if it changes tomorrow, then tomorrow you'll still get the effective date, your file date, as yesterday, but you will be rated as the new mental health thing because it just became in effect yesterday. So that's the thing. But always make sure to check those changes out. Check that information. The information changes. Just keep that in mind. Information does change, but you have to keep aware of it and you have to view it, because that's the biggest issue when it comes to it. The changes that happen are like I said, it's gonna be in black and white. It's gonna be in black and white. No matter how, no matter when, it will be in black and white. I'm trying to find this file so I can send it to you so y'all can see it. Yeah, the as long as you are filing your intent to file by that date, you don't have any problem. The problem is when you do it after the fact, that's when it changes it. Because the thing is they are going off of the regulation is still the regulation. They're not going to create a new regulation off of that and then backtrack everybody. That's not what they're going to do. They're not going to go back and be like, oh, well, we did this for this person, we got to do this. No, that's not gonna happen. That would throw everything, shit. Everything would be thrown backwards in that case. So that is not what they are trying to do. They are basically, you have the information, we're gonna go from there. Whatever goes after this is what we're gonna look at. This is how we're gonna propose the rules. This is how we're gonna go about the ruling. Anything prior, we don't need to worry about because it was already done with this prior thing. So still can't find this damn presumptions. It was 90 something, wasn't it? But yeah, that's the thing. There's different rule changes and stuff like that. Like I said, you can go to regulations.gov and you go to documents and you can click on proposed. I can actually show you that. Hold on 1 second. Which file is it? Never mind. Hold on. Give me 1 second so I could just show y'all that before I go. Oh, okay, so go back to studio. Okay, so it would be this. I was like, so I'll show you. Go to regulations.gov, which is this page here. You just type in regulations.gov. You would go from here and it'll give you like comments due soon. Because remember, when they make these changes, you can make comments on the issues. So you could just put Veteran Affairs. Is it VA 72? No, that's what I'll search for. Veteran Affairs. Then you go from here, you can go to rules and you can click on, you scroll down on the side, it'll give you the ability to go to Department of Veteran Affairs. You would click on that, and then from there it gives you the proposed rules. Let's see, is that better or is it? Yeah, it gives you the proposed rules, and you can go and check on the proposed rules that they have. You can go back. Oh, damn, I don't want to go that far back. You go to documents and go to Veteran Affairs also. And then you can go through and they have dockets. They have dockets, they have documents, they have comments on the stuff, and you can check it through there. The CFR is also here, which is ecfr.gov, which you could just type in Code of Federal Regulations, and you can go about it that way. You can put Code of Federal Regulations, and it'll take you to the site. And then you have to go make sure that you are going to Title 38, Chapter 1, Part 4. So we could do this from the beginning, and I'll show you what it looks like, because you will go to the Code of Federal Regulations. From the Code of Federal Regulations, you will scroll down to Title 38, which is Pensions, Bonuses, and Veterans Relief. From here, it'll break down to Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Part 200. So in that part right there, what you would do is you would go to Chapter 1, and then it shows you all the different parts. And the shit goes all the way to 80. And these are basically different things that it basically covers. When it comes to loans, fiduciary activities, Board of Appeals, all that stuff. What you're interested in and what you need to find is Schedule for Rating Disabilities. You click on there. This is the information that you need when it comes to filing. You go through there. It's a long read, but that's why you identify the stuff you need. Do been fighting with them for the longest because they denied me for tinnitus and sleep apnea. Army guy, you got to remember that when you are filing anything through the VA, you got to make sure that you have that documentation for it. Tinnitus and sleep apnea, you have to show why and how it was caused by your time in service. Whether that's by buddy statements, a nexus letter, you have to show that connection. Just because you have it, you've been diagnosed with it. That's a good thing. But you have to be able to show why it was caused and how it was caused by your time in service. Whichever way that matters or whichever way that goes about, you have to show that connection. And if it was proving it, then that means you have to file an appeal. Because like I said, it could be that you had a bad rater. Could be that. Could have been a bad C&P exam and they didn't do it. You can do a review and appeal it. If you know for sure it was proven and all that stuff, you need to make sure that you are appealing the process. You're just not taking it. You get a year after an appeal, after denial, and then once you get that, you have to approve it. Yeah, you have to. Once you get a whole year from you being denied. Once you have that whole year, you can either do a supplemental claim, which is basically you providing extra information to basically do it. You do the higher level review, which somebody else is just looking at it from a different lens. And then you have the appeal one with the Board of Appeals, which is basically going through the court proceedings of going through and fighting it. So there's different ways of doing it. Just because you get denied does not mean that that is final and is not going to get approved. If you know you are correct and you have your documentation, you have the correct proof, you appeal it and you go through that process. And then at the same time, while you're doing that, get more information, get more documentation, get more stuff so that you are able to prove it. No problem, man. But yeah, we are going to end it on that note. But yeah, this is how we usually do our lives on the Vet Aware Project, where I show you the screen so that you can see what it is I'm showing you. I'm not going to give you half-assed information or possibilities. No, I'm going to take you to the website. I'm going to show you directly where you're getting this information from, what you are researching to be successful. I'm not doing the stuff for you. I'm teaching you how to do it. Appreciate that. You too, Army. I was like, I'm teaching you how to do it so that you yourself understand what you got to do. So that way, in case you are paying for a service or something like that, you know that they are helping you in the correct way. That way you have that expert to assist you, but then you still at least have some background knowledge to be successful, because otherwise it makes no sense. If you ain't helping yourself out, you ain't helping. If you ain't helping yourself out, you just not helping yourself out. So, but like I said, we'll end it on that note. Gotta feed these cats. Y'all know how my cats are. Y'all already know. As always, I appreciate y'all. And as always, be good to one another. Take care of one another. Look out for one another. Love one another. Stay marvelous while doing it, y'all. I'm just Cruz. This has been our little chit chat for today. Appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, the super chat. I appreciate you for that. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day, and I will catch you, Gina. Y'all haven't, well, they're on YouTube and stuff. Appreciate you, Gina. Y'all have a good rest of y'all evening. Peace.